All right, guys, welcome back. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we got a new gun for you here. We're going to be shooting the new Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm. It's a 2.0. Let's shoot it a little bit. We're going to talk about it. All right. All right. That's one of those Terran tactical extensions. Had 23 rounds there. I had to make sure you guys are paying attention. All right. All right. Warming her up a little bit here. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about this little devil here. Brand new gun for this year. These things are literally like a week old. They've only been on store shelves very, very briefly here. We were able to get one early. The guys at Smith & Wesson were nice enough to attempt to do the best job they could to get this gun in our hands so we could get a really good first look out for you here. Brand new gun for this year. It's definitely an improved, we got a lot of wind blowing. You see these boxes blowing around here. Definitely an improved M&P over the standard one. You guys know, you're no stranger to this channel. You know that we are definitely fans of the M&P series of pistols. They're very, very nice. They've had a lot of interesting revisions, and it really is a first-class handgun in my opinion, the M&P. They really took that a step further with this particular gun. A couple of things noticeably that are different are the fact that you've got these forward cocking serrations that are on the bottom of the slide right here up front. So you do have forward cocking serrations that are, they don't go all the way up the slide, but they're very, very subtle change over the standard M&P. Also, the chassis has been changed considerably. You guys know that one of the, stay up there, one of the big things that people like about these M&Ps is the fact they have this chassis system, and they've always had it. The early M&Ps have like basically a full metal chassis in here, which makes a very, very rigid frame, nice and strong and everything. They took that a step further and they extended that chassis further out the front of the frame. So right here you can see there's metal in there. Now it does make the frame up front just slightly wider, but they had to do that in order to keep it, keep the metal in there and everything. So it's got a very, very rigid frame. Even up front here, I mean, I can sit there and bend on that thing and it's just as rigid as it can be. So you get the rigidity of a metal frame handgun or something like a CZ75 or 1911, but with the light weight of a polymer frame, which is great. Another thing that changed is the actual slide rails here on the frame itself are much beefier over standard M&P. I've actually got one of my Pro Series here. You can definitely see the change that they made there. I mean, there's a lot more meat there, a lot more surface area, and that helps prevent muzzle flip. There's a lot less of a chance of the slide actually wanting to kind of dip down or the barrel wanting to really dip down as much. It just makes the system more rigid, gives you really fast follow-up shots, and it's just wonderful there. Another thing they also changed is the slide stop itself. It's still got an ambidextrous slide stop like the other one does, no problem there. But they actually made a physical like slide stop lock. So when you look at this, they responded to a lot of the customer suggestions and everything. And one thing people were saying is in a stressful situation, in fact, I'm going to demonstrate it for you. In a stressful situation, you go to rack a hot mag into a gun and you go to hitting on it hard, what'll happen? That slide will fall on the live round, maybe when you're not ready yet. All right, so to demonstrate that, basically, what they mean by that is if I lock the slide to the rear, all right, this is the older M&P, and let's just say I'm in a really stressful situation and I really seat that mag hard. But what happened? I hit it hard enough to jostle that release, and it allowed the slide to stop. It's a slide stop, not a slide release. So see, their whole reasoning is on this gun, if it's locked to the rear, there's a detent that actually locks up and physically locks the slide to the rear. So the slide stop will stay in either position, whether you lock it down or up. So if I go to insert a magazine with a considerable amount of force, see, I hit that pretty hard. Look at that. It ain't moving. And when I want to load it, I load it. Sorry, I just had to do that. So on the final shot, obviously the slide locks to the rear. Now another interesting point about it is that normally, if I take a normal M&P like this, the way that the slide stop is designed, all I have to do is cheat that slide to the rear a very small amount, and that's it. That slide is locked, is going to become unlocked. On this one, I can cheat it back about the same amount. You can see that bit of movement that I'm getting right there. See that? I'm moving that slide all that distance and it's still locked to the rear. The only way that it's going to overcome the slide stop is if I load the gun physically. See, I hit it again nice and hard. If I load the gun physically and pull back and overcome it and load the gun. All right, gun's running pretty good here. There's also some other changes that they've made to the frame itself. The frame is different. You've got 4 interchangeable back straps, which is awesome. The previous series of M&P guns have 3 interchangeable back straps. This one gives you 4 interchangeable ones, so you get a few more options there. They've also changed the stippling a bit. You guys are probably familiar with the 45 shield. It's one of the newest shields that's out now. They're compact single stack 45. It has very similar stippling on the grip of this gun as the newer 45 shield has. Also, they've changed the magazine release to a metal magazine release now. If we look at the mag release that is on the older Pro Series here, it's a polymer mag release. Other than that, it pretty much retains most of the features that you would see and come to expect in an M&P pistol. I definitely think it's an improvement. I do like the way it fits my hand. I opted for the smaller grip. The gun initially is shipping in about 6 different configurations. You got a manual safety, one without a manual safety, a full size, and then a compact. I haven't seen the 2.0s available in a Pro Series yet or a Performance Center, and I haven't seen them available in a subcompact yet. But I was lucky enough to be able to get the newest versions. All right, so here we've got 2 different colors as well. You got black, and then this is the tan, and it has a manual safety. It's a full-size gun, so that's the full-size M&P. This particular one has a manual safety as well as a loaded chamber indicator on the top. The loaded chamber indicator on the compact is the same port that's on the original M&P. They didn't really change that on this model. One of the nice things about the chassis system in here is that it makes the frame nice and rigid. So for attaching your flashlights and lasers and other rail-mounted accessories, makes for a very, very rigid assembly for attaching those types of accessories, which is really, really nice. One quick note about the disassembly that is slightly different than the first generation M&P. You lock the slide to the rear, rotate the takedown lever down, dry fire the gun. I dry fire it. There's a little lever you can mess with and all. I don't do all that. I just dry fire it. The slide obviously is the same, but if you happen to bump that stop up, it does lock up. It's not really under the spring pressure like the other one is. It's not always a constant down that you're having to physically push up. It stays up or stays down. If it's up like that, just make sure that you push it back down before you reassemble the pistol. That's really about the only difference. One thing about this gun that I didn't mention, this exact one here, is that we are running the new Trijicon HD Pro night sights. It's basically the same HDs that you know and love, except it's got a thinner front sight post. So that was a request that they got from not only a lot of law enforcement agencies and stuff, but also civilian shooters alike. They really wanted that thinner front sight post because you can really draw a finer point of aim and get a little bit finer sight picture. I personally prefer the big dot That's just me personally, but if you were to put these on like a long slide gun like that 9L or even the full-size M&P here, it really would be an awesome range pistol and carry pistol, but there is also a little bit more room for movement and error, you know, which the standard HDs, in my opinion, point a little more naturally, because you pretty much just line that sight up in the middle of there, and you don't have to worry about sight picture, just kind of point and shoot naturally and not worry about it. I mean, I'm kind of slinging some rounds in here, no problem, but that's just something to think about there. Also, a lot of people were asking me to draw comparisons between the trigger in this gun and the stock trigger in a standard M&P. They said that they improved the trigger a good bit, and it's supposed to have a little bit more discernible reset. I would say that the reset is still a little bit on the squishy side. It's definitely not a discernible reset like you would see on other guns that are out there. So that's one area that really still needs some work. I know some folks kind of complain about that two-piece trigger that kind of curves a bit and it's kind of squishy feeling. That's really about the only minor detriment of the M&P is the trigger leaves maybe just a little bit to be desired for some shooters, myself included. Really, you know, an Apex trigger right out the gate, they're so easy to put in, they're well made. They're super nice people over there. The Apexes are just wonderful triggers. All of my M&Ps get Apexes in them. And so that's what I'm gonna say about the trigger. The gun is definitely a winner. I love it, it's awesome. All right, I'm gonna shoot a little bit more and then I'm gonna turn it over to Chad, let him have a few shots with the full size here. This is a compact. I mean, that right there, that's probably 15 yards away, and I put all of those shots in about the size of the bottom of a Coke can. I mean, and I wasn't even really trying. I'm just kind of spitting them out there. All right, I got one magazine here of 147 grain Federal HST. I'm gonna take out a few sodas, have a go here. I mean, that right there, that's about 30 yards away. That piece of steel down there, I was just wrapping them out and they're all right there in the center. Nice tight cluster of shots. I mean, I can't really think of what else this gun would really need to do. If you're an M&P kind of guy, it's your gun. It's certainly an improvement on the M&P. I can see where they really took a lot of comments and suggestions from people to heart. It's definitely got a lot going for it. It's a winner in my book. Very well made. I love the very beefy and robust construction of the gun over the older M&P. Not that the older M&P ever really gave me any kind of concern in terms of the construction. They are at dealers now. I have talked to several dealers that have already gotten the gun, so there's probably a lot of people out there that have got these right now. But nonetheless, definitely an interesting gun.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take a few shots with the new M&P 2.0 here. This is the flat dark earth full-size model. I've opted for the medium profile back strap. This fits my hand just a little bit better than the small like Eric was using. So we're gonna give this one a whirl. This has the manual safety on this model plus the loaded chamber indicator. Just gonna shoot a few mags and you know, put some rounds down range and see what we think here. Safety. I'm not used to a manual safety on a striker fired gun. Oh, that was a good flint. Let's see. Oh yeah. That gopher is slightly eluding me. Sucker will dang near put it in there for sure. And again, that new slide stop there doing its job. Yeah, definitely a I don't know, they say the trigger's improved, but it feels just like a regular M&P trigger to me. That's just me though. Can't seem to get that second shot off there. 12 yards away, let's try 9. A little better. Those are some mags of Federal American Eagle. This is some Blazer brass. Try it out real quick. I mean, it definitely puts them in for sure. Let's try some shots at 30 and 40 yards. Uh-oh. Try a couple more long-range shots. This is American Eagle Syntech. This is kind of neat. It's a synthetic jacket ammunition that's supposed to reduce fouling and be a little bit cleaner burning and such, and not give you so much dirt and grime in your barrel and just your gun in general. Plus, they advertise higher velocities. We'll have to maybe prove that one day. All right, let's see. Let's take some shots at 40 yards back there. Maybe I'll sail around through that soda there. And this is one of Eric's Terran Tactical 6-round mag extensions. So got 23 rounds in this mag. It's just nuts. All right, let's see. 75 yards. Try it out. Okay, let's see. Definitely puts him in there. Not bad. Well guys, this is just meant to be kind of an initial first look at these new M&P 2.0s. Definitely some awesome improvements they've made to the line. Some safety improvements, some ergonomic improvements, and as you saw in like the Smith & Wesson M&P 45 Shield video that we did, we showed you that new grip texture, and we were both just very, very happy with that texture that they're putting on the gun. It's not too terribly aggressive, but it doesn't feel like sandpaper in your hands. So, you know, we just recently put out a video on the CZ P10C, and you know, while that grip stippling does feel pretty good initially in the hand, after shooting it for a little while, it did, you know, just start irritating my hand a little bit and whatnot. But didn't lose track of the gun for sure. But this grip here, definitely a little bit more comfortable as far as the texture goes. But overall, seems like a pretty solid contender here. In a future video, we'll probably take these guns out again and compare them to some of the other popular striker-fired guns on the market. You know, take your Glocks, take your SIG, take the CZ P10 out, and we'll compare and contrast them, shoot them all, and just see how they all stack up against one another. But until that time, hope you enjoy the new product coverage, and we'll see you soon.